Hello and thanks for watching. I'm Jalen Kennedy. This week at Otterbein, the women's volleyball team traveled to Grand Rapids, Michigan to take part in the NCAA tournament against a top 10 team in Hope College. Harrison Ralph has more.
Harrison Ralph reporting for Otterbein TV here in Grand Rapids, Michigan at Calvin College, who is hosting the NCAA Division III Women's Volleyball Tournament. A bit of deja vu here in 2012 for the Cardinals as they find themselves in the exact same scenario they were in last season, coming into the NCAA tournament knowing that in the first round they will have to play Hope College, a team that has been good for several years and has continued that this season, coming in 28-4. They were able to bring in a lot of fans, a lot of support. Otterbein, obviously being much further away, did not draw quite the crowd. However, Monica McDonald would say after the match that did not have a whole lot of effect on the Cardinals, as they had just come off a win at Mount Union in the OAC title game, in a gym full of Purple Raider fans. So Monica McDonald was not going to use that as an excuse. There was a lot of pride and a lot of confidence coming into this game. Otterbein came into today's match at 26-8. However, that would not do Otterbein a whole lot of good as they were swept yet again in 3 sets here in the NCAA tournament. The sweep consisted of scores 25-22, set 1, 25-21 in set 2, and in set 3, again 25-22. So Otterbein definitely was in each set. However, they were not able to win any of them, and again they get swept by Hope College. But looking back on the season for Otterbein, there are a lot of positives that they can look back on and build on. First of all, staying with Hope, Otterbein only scored 52 points in their first meeting this season against Hope, and then today they scored 65 points totaled in their 3 sets. So some improvement, clear improvement from the beginning of the season here to the end of the season. So that's obviously good for the Cardinals. Also, you have to look again, the Otterbein Cardinals won 26 games this season. That cannot be overlooked. That's a very great mark. And then obviously the big thing, Otterbein winning the OAC title in the OAC tournament, going to Mount Union and knocking off the Purple Raiders on the road. A sensational feat right there, a great achievement by these ladies. A great season for Otterbein. Coach Monica McDonald and her players cannot be too upset about this season. It did not end the way that they wanted. However, like we said, they have accomplished a lot of things. They can use these to really build for the seasons to come. From Calvin College in Grand Rapids, Michigan, I'm Harrison Ralph.
Thanks, Harrison. We'll have more on other Otterbein sports later on. But first, some other news from around campus. Quiz and Quill will be holding their Writers Retreat this Saturday, November 17th from 12:30 to 6 p.m. on the first floor of Roush Hall. 3 student-led interactive workshops will give students the opportunity to focus on class projects and other creative works. Refreshments will be provided, and if you'd like more information, visit My Ozone. The Otterbein Library hosted an all-day reading of The Hobbit on Wednesday. Our Joe Bozica caught up with archivist Stephen Grinch with the story.
We're looking at ways to promote the library and to get students in here for reasons other than just studying. And a lot of us are big fans of The Hobbit. As you know, it's celebrating its 75th anniversary this year, and of course, exactly 1 month from today, on December 14th, the first of the 3-part movie is going to be opening. So we thought it would be a wonderful chance to indulge in our favorite book by staging a reading. And so starting at 9 o'clock today and going until whenever we're finished, probably around 9 or 9:30 this evening, we are reading the book start to finish. We invited students to come and be a part of this. There are a bunch of us from the library who are reading it throughout the day, but then we had a sign-up sheet and encouraged folks who were interested to come in, give us 15 minutes, half an hour, and it turned out some people have actually signed up for an entire hour's worth of reading. It's been a wonderful response.
On Monday, Pulitzer Prize-winning author Geraldine Brooks visited Otterbein to discuss her best-selling novels with students and faculty. Brooks talked to the crowd in Riley Auditorium about her historical novel, March, which won the Pulitzer Prize in 2006 for fiction. The event was put on by the Westerville Public Library and the Ohio Humanities Council. March tells the story of an abolitionist and chaplain during the Civil War. The novel parallels Louisa May Alcott's Little Women from the point of view of Alcott's absent father. Last weekend, the Otterbein Music Department presented two one-act operas. The opera Gallantry tells the story of Dr. Greg, a surgeon who falls in love with nurse Lola Markham. This soap opera becomes complex as the doctor is married and the nurse is engaged to the doctor's patient, Donald Hopewell. Commercial breaks are sung to create the effect of a television soap throughout the performance. Joshua Dixon played the role of Dr. Greg, while Dara Ann Pardon played the nurse. Tyler Driggs took on the role of the patient. In The Life and Love of Joe Coogan, opera-goers relive memories of the Dick Van Dyke Show as Rob Petrie goes on a golf outing with friends and meets up with Joe Coogan, who rounds out the foursome. After the round, Petrie learns that Coogan used to date Laura Petrie, who is Rob's wife. Rob storms home and has an argument with Laura, who decides to invite Joe to dinner to clear up the argument. To try to steer Joe away from his wife, Rob sets Joe up on a blind date, only to find out that he has become a priest. Andrew Surziba played Rob Petrie, while Martine Tyus played Laura. Eric Heinsohn took on the role of Joe Coogan. This Sunday at 2 p.m., the music department will present a wide variety of opera scenes at Riley Auditorium. The event is free and open to the public. Crossroads is the newest program put on by the Church of the Master, a weekly experience every Sunday night. Kayla Johnson tells us more.
Crossroads is Otterbein's newest worship experience on campus. The organization is in its first semester here at Otterbein. One of the founding members, Kendra Schwartz, tells us more.
Crossroads is a worship service that is for Otterbein students or any young families that want to come out and praise God. It's just another option for those on campus. Our mission statement is passionate, inclusive, bold, and called. So we want everyone to come out, whether they're questioning faith, whether they don't know exactly what to believe in. We want them to be a safe place here and learn all they can.
Each service at Crossroads begins with the worship service from the worship band. Crossroads is also open to having special guests. Last week, they welcomed Humble Dance Ministry. Crossroads then ends the service with a speaker to bring a different message each week. Crossroads is every Sunday at 8 p.m. at the Church of the Master. Crossroads welcomes all sizes, colors, ages, sexes, cultures, beliefs, religions, types, all people. For This Week at Otterbein, Kayla Johnson reporting.
Crossroads is open to all people. Kayla Johnson will be speaking Sunday about judgment. All are invited to attend. Art students in 2D design were recently tasked with creating self-portraits using a color scheme that matched their expressive personality. The twist was that they could only use hole punch pieces for the portrait. Students were to keep in mind the elements and principles of two-dimensional design by paying close attention to shape, color, space, balance, direction, and unity. The intent of the project was to have students create a 3D representation on a two-dimensional plane. The projects are currently on display at the art building if you'd like to take a look for yourself. Still to come on This Week at Otterbein, we recap the final game of the Otterbein football season. Stay tuned.
This year, 1 in 3 older Americans will fall at home, risking a potentially lethal hip fracture. For information on making your home safer, visit orthoinfo.org. A message from the American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons.
This is not a race. On the road to financial independence, the winners are the ones who stay the course. Learn more about securing your financial future and choose to save. It will pay off in the long run.
The American Legion. We're a powerful force for the nation. We work relentlessly within our 4 pillars of service, and we succeed. Go to legion.org to find out more about the American Legion's commitment of service to America.
Find time to talk to your parents about getting older.
We can do it the day after I die, okay? I'm busy.
No matter who you are, it's not easy talking about aging. For help, go to voa.org/talk. A message from Volunteers of America.
My husband, Hank, he taught me to live like there's no tomorrow, and we did it all. European vacations, expensive cars, the best restaurants. Life was great till he died. Now there are no tomorrows for Hank, but they're all I've got. Because we never saved a dime.
23 seconds to play. Laux, right point, coming near side. Gives it off to Waterwash for three. Nylon for Toby Waterwash! The Cardinals take the lead in the right center. We got a whistle and a timeout taken. Otterbein on top, 68-66.
Otterbein football wrapped up the 2012 season with a win over Ohio Northern to improve to 8-2. While Otterbein came up short of the playoffs, two OAC schools did advance. The two teams would be Mount Union and Heidelberg, the only teams Otterbein lost to this season. The Purple Raiders will put their undefeated record on the line versus 6-4 Christopher Newport on Saturday. Heidelberg will take on the Tigers of Wittenberg in the battle of two 9-1 teams. In other OAC football news, Capital head coach Henry Stanford has resigned after a disappointing 2-8 season. The three-year head coach submitted his resignation on Monday, November 12th. Stanford had accumulated a 12-18 record throughout his time at Capital. There is no word yet on who the new head coach might be. Well, that is all the time we have for this week's show. On behalf of our entire news crew, I'm Jalen Kennedy, reminding you to make this week at Otterbein a great week at Otterbein. Thanks for watching.